Hey, it's Alan. Welcome back. Alrighty, in this lesson we're going to talk about installing the three main components you need for this sort of thing: Node.js, Vue.js, and Firebase. Now, they're free, so you don't have to worry about them costing you any money. First, I'll show you how to do it in Windows, and then I'll show you how to do it in a Mac. In this course, it rarely matters what you're using. This one lesson isn't a little bit of an exception, so I'll do it separately. I'll do Windows first. If you're not using Windows, you can fast forward to where you see the Apple logo and pick it up from there. I'm using Windows 10. It's basically the same in any other version of Windows. Okay, so here I'm at the desktop, and you need to get to the command prompt first. And what I suggest you do is go ahead and click the Start button, type CMD, look for Command Prompt on the Start menu, right-click that and choose Run as Administrator. It might ask if you're sure, just click Yes, and that'll open up the Command Prompt window, which looks something like this. And the first thing we'll do is check to see if you already have Node installed, and to do that, type Node, N-O-D-E, then a space, then a hyphen and V for version, and press Enter. Now, if you see a version number or something, you already have Node installed. You don't need to reinstall it. But if you see something like this where it's not recognized as an internal or external command, that means you don't have that installed yet. And so I'll show you how you can go out and get it. And again, it's free, so don't worry about paying any money for it. Okay, to go get it, open up your web browser. It could be Chrome or Safari, whatever you normally use, and browse out to nodejs.org. If you search for it, it'll probably be the first item in the search results. But just make sure you end up at the right page, which looks something like this. It won't look exactly that way when you get there because it may be a newer version number, but it should look something like this. You want to click this button. I don't know what number it'll be when you get there, but don't worry about that. All that you care about is that you click the one that says recommended for most users. I don't think there's anything else below that you need. No, so go ahead and just click that recommended for most users, and it will download like anything else you download in your browser. I'm using Chrome, so it kind of shows up down here in the lower left corner. And then once it's downloaded, you can open it however you normally do in your browser. Here in Chrome, I'll just click the little arrow and choose Open, and that'll start the installation procedure. Again, you might see an "Are you sure?" kind of thing. Just go ahead and say yes. And the rest is just your typical installation thing where you can pretty much just say next on each page. We'll need to, accept the agreement. Click next. The path is fine. Oh, that's fine. Click next. And then just click install. Then just wait, really. I'll speed it up so you're not waiting for it in real time. Yours might take a little bit longer than this. Okay, but eventually you'll get to the last page of the wizard where you just have to click finish and you are done with that aspect of it. Okay? And now to verify that it worked, we'll go ahead and open up the command prompt again. So click Start, type CMD, right-click Command Prompt, and choose Run as Administrator. If it prompts for making sure, just choose Yes. Okay, and then again we want to type at the command prompt, we want to type Node space hyphen V and press Enter. And this time you should see a version number. Now, it won't be the exact same version number I have here because they come out pretty quick, but don't worry about it. Don't worry about version numbers at all. Node comes with a thing called Node Package Manager, or NPM for short. And as the name implies, it allows you to manage packages, which are chunks of code you can use in your own development for free. For example, Vue.js and Firebase tools are NPM packages, Node packages that you'll be installing shortly. And to verify that you have NPM installed, here at the command prompt you can type NPM space hyphen V and press Enter, and you should see a version number assuming you have NPM installed. It won't be this exact same version number, but don't worry about that. Now for our database and web hosting, we're going to be using Google's Firebase, so let's make sure you have an account out there. Go ahead and open up your browser and browse out to firebase.google.com. I can't say exactly what it'll look like when you get there, but here's what it looks like right now. It's actually the first thing you hit, but it's basically firebase.google.com. Okay, now if you don't have an account or if you're not signed in, click sign in. If you already have a Google account, go ahead and sign in with your usual username and password. Otherwise, you can click more options and create account and create account. Again, it's free, so don't worry about it costing you anything. And then once I won't go through all those steps. Once you're logged in, you'll see where it used to say sign in, you'll see your avatar or picture or whatever you use for your account there. Okay, the next step is to install the Firebase tools, and if you went digging around their documentation, you would find it here under Run a Local Web Server for Developer. Basically, they want you to type npm install -g space Firebase -tools. Don't worry if you can't find that right now. It's not important. I'll just tell you what to type. But if you go digging around and find it, of course, you can copy paste it. Just make sure you don't grab the $ too. But the important point is go back into your command prompt and run that command. Again, in Windows, I would say, type the CMD, right-click and choose Run as Administrator. It's just a way to help ensure you get all the files you need. All right, so the command we need is npm space install space -g space Firebase -tools. That -g is pretty common with npm. It stands for global. It means that you may want to use this package, this chunk of software, in more than one thing you create. So go ahead and put that in there, press enter, and now this part will take a while. I will speed it up so you don't have to wait 10 minutes watching progress indicators. You may see some warnings and technical jibber jabber. Don't worry about it. When it's done, you'll get back to the command prompt, and let's just assume everything's going to be fine. Again, you don't need to worry about that stuff there. You can just type CLS for clear screen and press enter. That'll clear off your screen. And next, we will install Vue.js. So for that, type npm space install space -g for global, again, so we can use it in multiple projects. And it's Vue-CLI. CLI stands for Command Line Interface. Okay, press enter. And again, I'm going to speed it up here because it takes several minutes to download, and you don't want to sit here and watch that happen. Again, don't worry about any warnings or anything you see along the way. When it's done, you'll just come back to the command prompt, and that's it. You're done as far as Windows goes. So if you don't have a Mac, you're not using a Mac, you can skip the rest of this lesson. Otherwise, for the second half of this lesson, I'm going to go through the same steps using a Mac rather than Windows. All right? Okay, so we need to install Node, if it's not already installed, and the Vue CLI, Vue.js CLI, and Firebase tools. On a Mac, we'll be using the terminal window. You can open that however you normally do. If you don't normally open it, you can click the spotlight magnifying glass near the top right corner, type terminal, and you should see terminal app or terminal, and you can just open it from there. First thing, let's check to see if you already have Node.js installed. So at the terminal prompt, you can type node space -v and press enter. If you see a version number, then Node's already installed and you probably don't need to install it again. But if you see an error like this, then it's not installed, and the first step is going to be to go install Node.js. And again, it's free, so don't worry about it costing you any money or anything. Okay, so open up Safari or whatever you browse with normally, and you want to browse out to nodejs.org, where you can search for it, Node.js, and it's this first one, nodejs.org. Just make sure you get to the right page, and you want to click the first recommended for most users option. Now, the number you see there will be different from that number. It'll probably be higher, but don't worry about that. You just want to click whichever one says recommended for most users on the left there. If you're using Safari, it'll go to this download area up here, and then when it's done, you can click that, and then click the node dash whatever it is .dmg, and that'll start the installer, which looks something like this. All right, and then it's just kind of a typical install. Go ahead and click continue, and click continue. And agree, you got to agree. That's fine. Macintosh HD, click continue. How much space it'll take is fine. Install. And you'll need your Mac password to give permission. And then the installation will start, and that'll go something like this. And once it's done, it'll take you to the summary page. And it says it's installed. So let's go ahead and click close. So now, move to trash. We don't need the installer anymore. And then to verify the installation, get back to your terminal window, type node space -v and press enter. And you should see a version number. Again, it doesn't have to be this version. It should be this version or a higher number. Now, whenever you download and install Node.js, you also get the Node Package Manager, NPM as it's called. And that allows you to download and install various kinds of Node packages, which are different tools you can use in your development work. And here we're going to be using Node Package Manager, NPM, to install Firebase tools and the Vue.js CLI. Now, to verify that you have NPM installed, you can type npm space -v and press enter. You should see a version number. Doesn't matter what the version number is, it should be this number or higher. Yours will probably be higher, but don't worry about that. In this course, we're going to use Firebase both for our database storage and to host our website for free. You'll need to have a Google account for that to work, and if you're not sure about that, go ahead and browse out to firebase.google.com. You can use Safari or whatever you use as your web browser. And if you see sign in over here, you can go ahead and click that and sign into your Google account. If you don't have a Google account, you can click more options and create an account. Now, I won't go step by step through all that. You should be able to do that just by following the prompts on the screen. But the thing is, you want to be able to have a Firebase account so that you can click sign in at firebase.google.com and see your avatar or picture or whatever you use for your account there. And then once you have your Google account, then you can go back to your command prompt and install the Firebase tools. Now, the Firebase site has tons of documentation and tutorials for doing all this stuff. I'm not going to try to teach all of Firebase. Like I said, I just want to focus on a specific project. So I'll just show you what we need for here. But here you can see it tells you to install the Firebase tools. You use an npm command. So we'll go back to a terminal window and do that next. You can close the browser window, whatever. We don't really need that now. Back at the terminal window, you want to enter the command sudo, sudo, which is super user do, kind of administrative privileges you're granting yourself, and then space npm space install, and again a space and -g. Again, that stands for global in npm, and it's just a way of installing it in a way that it's usable across multiple projects if you want to use it that way. Okay, and then another space and the name of the app, which is Firebase-tools, and press enter. And since you use that sudo, you're going to have to put in your Mac password. You can't see it as I type it here. All right, and then the installation starts, and it's going to take several minutes. Again, I'll speed it up because you don't need to sit there and watch the progress indicator. Okay, and then when that's done, now you may see some warnings and stuff along the way. Try not to worry about that. And when that's done, you're back to the command prompt. We'll do Vue next. If you want to clear off all this gobbledygook on your terminal window, just type clear, C-L-E-A-R, and press enter. And again, we'll type sudo, S-U-D-O, a space, npm space, install space, -g for global, so it's accessible to multiple projects, then space in Vue, V-U-E -CLI, and press enter. Okay, we'll install. Again, you might see the occasional warning or whatever. Don't worry about it. When it's done, you'll return to the standing prompt. And that's it. You're done. You've installed Firebase in the Vue CLI, which is what we're going to need to create our project. Okay, so in this lesson you installed Node.js, Vue.js, and Firebase, which are the three main components we'll be using for our project. So come on over to the next lesson and we'll get started creating. See you there.